Since the start of the second Trump administration, lawsuits challenging many of the president's actions have resulted in nationwide injunctions putting those policies on temporary hold. CBS News has found whether it's President Trump or former President Biden in the White House, lawyers hoping to challenge the executive branch are carefully selecting where to file their cases in what's known as venue shopping. An analysis of federal cases against the Biden administration and the first Trump administration found conservative-leaning lawyers would most often choose red states like Texas to file their suits, while liberal-leaning groups would likely target courts in blue areas like California or Washington, D.C. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now. Fascinating analysis that you and our team did. Can you give us an example of maybe how both sides across the aisle are using this?
Yeah, this is absolutely something that both sides are doing, Lindsay. That's what our analysis showed. But an interesting example is that, and when we were looking at the Biden administration, our analysis showed that these tiny districts in Texas rose to the top. For example, one is Amarillo. It's got a population of about 200,000 people and a Trump-appointed judge named Matthew Kacsmaryk. That was third on the list. So these cases that were seeking nationwide relief, suing the Biden administration, were brought in this small venue. One of those that people would probably know about is the mifepristone case. So Judge Kacsmaryk had issued a nationwide injunction where temporarily people were not able to access birth control because of it. Now, on the other side, we're currently seeing a lot of cases that are being filed in Massachusetts and in the First Circuit. For example, the birthright citizenship case was brought in both New Hampshire and Massachusetts. Those are both in the First Circuit. So they're also looking for a friendly environment. And this is just good lawyering, a lot of people say. You want to find the best forum, the best court for your client and for your case. But where it gets more dangerous is when it becomes ideological, looking to one judge who you think might be favorable to what you're trying to implement.
And don't you have to have a reason for where you're filing? I mean, on top of that, have there been efforts to try and curb this? Like, are there pros and cons also that people consider?
There are. And I mean, one thing is when people sort of do plaintiff shopping to try to get standing in a certain forum. But there has been a recommendation by the Judicial Conference in March of 2024 for random case assignment to try to curb this issue of potential judge shopping. One of the only places that has not implemented it is Texas. Although, interestingly, Massachusetts only recently did, and that was just a few weeks after the birthright citizenship case was filed there. So that's very notable because there are 2 single-judge districts in Massachusetts, so they implemented this random case assignment policy to prevent that from happening there. Pros and cons are, let's say a nationwide injunction does not exist with the birthright citizenship case. There will be people that are born in certain states who get American citizenship, and then in other states who do not under that policy. However, on the other side, it can really overburden the court system if we can't get nationwide injunctions. For example, with the recent Alien Enemy Act cases, the ACLU has had to file in districts all across the country. At one point, I was in court and I heard them say they were prepared to file in all 94 districts in order to prevent this from being implemented because they couldn't get nationwide relief. So there are really pros and cons on both sides, and we'll have to see what the Supreme Court says after the birthright citizenship arguments last week about this.
I encourage everyone to read your analysis at cbsnews.com. Katrina Kaufman, thank you.
Thank you.